Hey guys, and welcome back for another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really cute accessories travel wallet. I made two different versions for you guys, one that's really pretty and then one that is kind of fun and crafty, so you can put your crafting items in there, maybe your sewing items for travel, or you can also use it as a little makeup bag, so you can put your makeup brushes and the little slots and then put little things like eyeshadows and things like that into the zipper pouch. This also can be used as a pencil case where you can just put all your pencils into those little slots as well. So if you're interested, then all the measurements will be over at the blog post, which will be linked below, as well as the information icon. There's a lot of pieces, so I need to have it all itemized for you guys. And there are some pieces that I will provide a PDF pattern for you. You don't necessarily need the PDF pattern, but if you just want to make it easier for you, and you can print it out and then easily cut it out. So I'm just going to show you the pieces that you need. You're going to need two of these long strips and then two of these rectangles. This will be the front of your zipper pouch, and then we'll have a pocket lining piece. We will also have a flap piece. That's the piece that went over the makeup brushes. And then the pocket to put all your little brushes in, and then the back piece behind it. This is the outside piece. I did use interfacing on it, but you don't have to. And then this is the other side of the little fold over flap. And we're gonna start working on installing our zipper. So we're gonna work on the first panel. So you're gonna take your two small rectangles and we're going to place those along one edge of your zipper. Make sure your fabric is right sides together. I'm not using a fabric that has a right or wrong side, so it doesn't really matter. But if you are using a fabric with a right or wrong side, just keep that in mind throughout this tutorial. I really like using just the regular broadcloth for these pieces, just because it helps make the other fabric that I do use pop more, but it's totally up to you what you want to do. So I flipped that with the right sides out, and then I just did a top stitch along the zipper tee. So now we're going to take the other two front zipper pieces and we will sandwich those with the other side of the zipper, and then we'll sew down that raw edge. So just make sure that your sides are lined up with the first two little rectangles, and all of your edges are nice and straight, just so that you can ensure that your zipper installation is nice and straight. And then you're going to flip it with the right sides out, and again we'll do another top stitch along the edge there. And then we can start working on our next panel. So the next panel will be the panel that has the little slots for your tools or your makeup brushes. We're going to work on the flap first. We're going to take that piece, fold it lengthways with the right sides together, and we're going to sew down the sides. For the pocket piece, you're going to fold that in half lengthways with the wrong sides together, and we're going to sew down that folded edge, just a top stitch. So I'm just going to sew the flap. So like I said, you have to keep in mind that if you are using a right or wrong sided fabric, that you do want this to be inside out right now. And then we're going to sew the top stitch along the slot piece. And this is because this is going to fit in and all those raw edges will be hidden. But with the flap piece, we're only going to be hiding the top of it, so we need to have finished edges on 3 of them. So we're going to take that flap piece, we're going to snip the corners just so that we can make sure that they're nice and sharp when we go to flip this. We're going to flip it right sides out, and then we will press that, and then we will also press the little slot piece. I like to use little tools to make sure that I poke out my corners also. And then after, we're just going to take that flat piece over to the sewing machine, and we will top stitch along the 3 sides. So now we can start to assemble our little slot panel. You're going to take that slotted piece and then put that on top of the other piece that is for the back of this panel. And we're going to make sure that the fold is in the center like that. and we're gonna work out our seams for our slots. So you can totally customize how wide you want, but I started off by marking a 1/2 inch line at the beginning and at the end, and then I just worked out what sizes I wanted. If you already have tools in mind, then you can plan that out. I did 3 slots that were 3/4 of an inch, and then the last 2 were 1 inch wide. And that was good enough for some larger size brushes and small ones, or 3/4 of an inch is good for pencils or pens. So just keep that in mind. You can make it custom for whatever you need. And now I'm just going to sew down those little lines that I created. And I'm just going to make sure I backstitch at the top of the pocket, just because that is where there will be lots of stress from inserting things, and that is definitely a place where your thread or your seam will come undone if you don't tack it really good. So now we have all of our panels basically prepared. So now we can assemble the interior of our wallet. So we're going to take that little closure flap, we're going to put that with the right sides together on the left side of the center panel, and then we'll take the zipper panel, put that with the zipper pulled down on top of that center panel, and then we'll place the lining of the zipper piece on top of that. So first I'm just going to sew that closure flap, and then I sewed the other side. So this is how it will look, and we will place the little flap there, and you can pin that into place. And if you wanted to sew the top of it just to give it a basting stitch, you can do that, just so that things won't shift around. But we're just going to take the last piece, the outer piece, and place that on top, and we will sew all the way around. Make sure when you do sew over your zippers that you do tuck in the zipper. In the next clip, I did make a mistake and I had to go back and fix it, if you can spot it, but you get the idea. We're just going to sew all the way around. Make sure you don't hit those zipper stops so you don't smash your needle or break your machine like I did. And we're just going to flip the whole entire thing right sides out using that hole that we left in the zipper pouch. So just make sure you poke out all your corners, of course, and you, you know, kind of curve out that the flap there. And we're just going to take it over to the ironing board and press it all nice and flat. And then we'll fold in those raw edges from the hole that we left. And then our next step would be to do a top stitch all the way around the bag, which will then close up that hole. If you want to top stitch over the flap, you can, but I like to flip the flap up. Wow, there's a lot of flaps going on. And we'll just do that top stitch about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. And then, like I said, it will close up that hole. And then we can decide if you want to do what kind of closure. So if you wanted to do something internal, then you would have had to do it a few steps back. I'll show you a clip of that soon, but I chose to do the plastic snap. So I just found the center and then place a snap, and then the other piece of the snap actually would get hidden inside of the zipper pouch, so it's already hidden. But if you're going to do something like Velcro, you would have to do it before you assembled your little flap piece, and then before you put on the back piece. So this is the back panel of another pouch that I did. So I just put a long piece of loop tape onto the exterior panel, and then a little piece of hook tape onto that little closure flap. So then we're done. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and also check out that blog post for any and all information pertaining to this, measurements, links of products I use, and also if you make this, I would love to see it. So please follow me on Instagram and Facebook, which is all linked below. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye guys.